proudly we hail, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the paradise.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom Network. This is Gary right here, your host. We are live, so you are more than welcome to call in. Number's right there on your screen, as is the email constitution4, the number 4, freedom@gmail.com. Holy moly, is there a lot going on. Jim's with us. How you doing, Jim? Welcome
Good.
back.
How you doing?
Always good to have you.
Couldn't miss tonight.
No, big night.
Right.
Big day yesterday. I mean, this was a big day. You know, well, we can certainly get to local results first, and it's interesting. You know, we've talked about the big local question 4.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. I guess some people would say ad nauseum here, but I am going to say that what we have is we got a big win by the yes. Huge win.
I would say yes.
43-47 to 23-24. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mandate.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Townspeople want a new school.
Town people want a new school. You're going to get a new school. I really must say, though, I was happy to see, for how the most part, not everybody.
Yep.
You know, both sides. Yeah, emotions get going, and that doesn't make anybody a bad person, I guess. But they have pretty much been staying classy. I think that's pretty good. That's a definite nod. I was talking about that on social media today, especially before and at lunchtime. Before work for me is kind of early sometimes, though. I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock.
So what
in the morning.
So what are you saying?
looking.
You're saying that the no's that lost, they're
Yeah, they've been okay. They've been
all right, is
classy.
that
As a
what
matter of
you're
fact, a lot of congratulations. I sent out a congratulations. I know several other people did as well, which is, I think, good.
Mhm.
And humbly accepted from the other side,
right.
for the most part.
Sure.
Couple on each side, but nothing that would consider a mandate. I mean, we all have opinions. I'm not going to shy away from my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know my opinion on it. But I will congratulate here as well on the Freedom Network to everybody that worked so hard to pass it, because that's politics. You worked your butts off. You got a bunch of people to the polls, and you won. That's it.
That's it.
That's how it goes.
Right.
That's life. No need to get crazy. I'll be honest with you, though. I'm not irate that it passed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to change my stance on the misinformation either.
Sure. No,
That
I
I'm not
get, I
gonna
get
do.
that completely, Gary. And
That I'm not going to do.
you
but-
know, had I had a vote in this town, I would have voted reluctantly yes.
Yeah.
Crazy as that sounds, I would have.
It's crazy
'Cause
to
I
hear
don't
you
do that
say
very
that. It's
often.
crazy to hear you say that. It's wild. That's on tape.
Yeah,
now,
I know, but I don't. You know,
Could
listen.
be used
I
against
wasn't
you
actually
later.
pulling a lever in this town, so maybe I would have got
Yeah.
a little shaky. In
You
the
might
end,
have.
but I
It
don't
was
know.
shaky. I was shaking. I had my kid with me, and I didn't want him to see me shaking, but I was shaking. But I'll come right out and say I did vote no.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did.
You did. See,
I
wasn't
bubbled
gonna
in the
ask.
no.
I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna ask you a
I
question.
felt that
either
you know
gonna
you
offer
you
that.
folks had you had the votes. I think it was pretty clear by the turnout when you looked at the demographics of the turnout, and a turnout of almost 7,000 people is huge.
Mhm.
We actually won an award, I think, for having so many people vote in a town, and I think it was less than that amount. So maybe we'll win another award too. I don't know what that means.
Maybe an extra milk to the town. I don't know. No, nothing.
Oh
like that?
no! I don't think it meant anything. But it does mean something.
Right.
It does mean people are involved, and that's good.
That's
You
right.
know, it is good. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it.
Because of the
But
way
I'm
it
not
was,
unhappy.
Because of the way it was presented, Gary, or you didn't think
Not
that,
overall,
or
just
you
in
didn't
my-
think you needed a new school.
No, just in the presentation to me.
Right.
To me, it was personal. It wasn't explained properly. When I looked even deeper into the frequently asked questions, especially number 13,
Right.
I just felt that it was right. I felt that there should have been maybe a little outreach with that. It didn't happen, and I said, you know what? You guys got this without me. The best I said I was going to do would not vote on it.
Right.
But I really didn't want to blanket, and I sat in there and I thought for a minute. Longest I ever spent. Usually I know just what I'm doing. I go in, boom, 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 boom.
So,
I was in there probably. I could have been in there 3 to 4 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it was quite an event for me.
Yeah.
As my son sat there like, come on, Dad.
Well, let me ask you, Gary. Had all the information that you had learned about throughout the process, had
Yes.
you known that sooner?
Yes.
Like, if you didn't feel like it was portrayed in a bad light, like,
Yeah.
like if it was done more on the up and up to you,
Yes.
to your standard,
Yeah.
would you have still been a no?
Probably not. Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. As a matter of fact, I could have even turned that around and helped you use it as a selling point, but you never asked. Because the reality is that as people are here, and as they do get older, and as their incomes go down, they will actually pay less.
Yeah.
And that is a benefit. And as your property value goes up, you will pay more in taxes on your assessed property because
Right.
it's going to be worth more.
Sure.
But if the payment's going down, in all reality, you're not really realizing that increase on the valuation of your home. Then the thing gets paid off. You sell your house, and you move to Florida, I guess is the rule. And that's it. You know what I mean? You move on, and you probably weather the storm quite well. But it wasn't presented that way, so I am going to stand on my opinion. I'm going to keep my opinion consistent. Definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. If I thought that my vote was either going to pass it or not, I would have been in that booth 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I would have done. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done.
Right.
But I can't stand.
But
I'm not
you
standing.
were relatively confident that it was going to pass without your vote, so you
Yes.
could.
I
could
was
further-
really confident it was going to. From just the inclinations I saw, not just at the town meeting, but the fact that the no voters didn't really show up at all to the town meeting. And I think some of that was apathy because a lot of the no voters maybe didn't want to go vote no. And they just, because it's not the worst deal I've ever seen.
Right.
Not the best,
Right,
but
right.
it's not the worst. So maybe they just said, kind of like I was saying, I'll blanket. Maybe they just said, you know what, the heck with it. I mean, really, Warren was going to win. That was a given.
Yeah,
We'll
right,
talk
right,
about
right.
that.
Yeah.
And if that's the only thing that's on there, it's almost like go have your day. And I think that's where some of that respect comes in between the two sides. But I was very undecided on it going into it. And then when I really got in there, I just couldn't do it for my own reasons, not really about the town at
Sure.
that point.
Yep.
But my principles got to mean something. So the way I see is, to be honest with you, Jim, if you won, it's okay. If you lost, it's okay. It's what it is, right? I mean, maybe I have that benevolent attitude because back in 1990, I think it was 90 or 91, was when the seatbelt initiative was going on. And I got very involved with that, with Chip Ford. That's how I met Barbara Anderson. And that's what led me into this whole thing. Because I got to it was pretty neat. I got to go on Jerry Williams' show with Howie Carr, who was a guest at the time, and Barbara Anderson and Chip Ford. I think everybody was there. And we got to go into the RKO studios, and that's what kind of gave me the bug.
Yeah.
And when we did the thing, it was really neat. I'll just take 30 seconds. It was cool because we got all the petitions, and we collected all the petitions. And then you gotta bring them all and get them certified at the town. Then you gotta get them and bring them into the State House, who at the time I think was probably still Bill Galvin. I'd have to look it up, but I think it was this guy. Anyway, we brought them actually, and we brought I think Chip. It was Chip, I think, that was driving. It's really a long time ago. Anyway, when we delivered them to the Secretary of State's office, we delivered them wrapped in seatbelts, which was a lot of fun. It was really cool.
So you were for it.
No, we were dead
You
set
were
against
against
it.
it,
Yeah,
okay.
we were dead set against it, and we lost. I mean, we lost, and I was devastated.
Well, you won once. I mean, didn't it?
No, it was made.
Wasn't it made not a law, and then they re
I don't
set
think
it the
so,
next
but you
time?
might be right. I don't
There's
think
part
it
of
was.
me that feels like it didn't
it
pass,
may
and
have-
then they pushed it down our throats anyway.
That
Similar
could happen,
Similar
and
to
then
the
we may-
rollback. Wasn't
yeah.
there like a roll the tax back to 5% at one point? And
Yeah,
that,
there
and
was.
That one, and then it never got rolled back.
But that didn't happen. You see that, Jim?
Yes, you just lost
Did you
power.
see that?
You got to plug that thing in before you
I had
charge it up a
100.
bit.
I had
Gary.
100%
I don't believe you.
power.
I don't believe
I
you.
may have lost power, but I don't think so. I think I can
I
come
see
back.
no light. Oh, okay.
Ah, look at
All right,
that.
was
Huh?
on.
So we lost. We lost terribly. It
Yeah.
was not a good feeling to lose. But I'll
Was
tell
that
you.
First big loss?
Well, I was probably 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
You know,
and you
somewhere
were
in that
it,
area.
And you were in it.
And I was in it to win it. I
Yeah.
remember also, but it taught me something. And I remember that Chip said something to me. Hey, look, kid, you're going to win some, lose some. And if you're at all conservative in this state, you're going to lose a lot more than you're going to win. Something like that, he says to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was it. But I realized through that, you know what you do. You just move on. That's what you do. You go on. Obama was president for
And you
8
started,
years.
And you
I made
started
it through.
buckling up right after that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, and then I
mean,
got a little bit
it was a
involved with Governor Weld back in the time,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun.
Probably had a couple captains with him or something.
Yeah, he did that, and he likes the juice, that's for sure. And that was really neat and interesting. I remember going to a function. It was really interesting, and it was all the talk show hosts that had supported CLT. They had a dinner, and then everybody got like a table. So Howie Carr was there, and Jerry Williams was there. I mean, there was a lot of heavy hitters there, and they invited me there. I'm like, what the hell do you want me there for? You know. But I was at the time that local, right? We were on like 4 or 5 radio stations. It was really neat. So we had a great, huge local audience of, you know, Taunton, Middleborough, Brockton, down in that area. So it was a lot of fun. I don't even know why the hell we're talking about this, but it was fun. Anyway, like I said, it's okay if you won. It's okay if you lost. You're going to get over it either way.
Right.
I think it's been good that the winners haven't seemed to be sore winners. The losers haven't seemed to be sore losers
Yeah.
in most cases. But what are you going to do? The participation was good. The will of the majority said this is what we want to do. So now what we have to do is we have to do it. Now we got to make sure
Now
it
we
gets
do it.
done, and we got to
Yeah.
make sure it gets done the way they said it would, on budget, on time, the way it should be. Got to take those residents into consideration. They were very good online today. There were some residents that live right near there that will be somewhat
Property
impacted.
of butters.
Butters.
Yeah.
The impact isn't that they're going to lose property or anything.
Well,
but
in some cases they felt like they were.
yes, they did.
Because they thought their
it was
properties
their
were-
property,
yeah.
and upon the town even paying to do some surveying for them.
Right.
Yeah, they learned that
That
wasn't.
was a bad lesson for them. Free
You know.
survey. I lost land.
Yeah, right.
And I thought I
that
had.
you thought
But it
you
wasn't-
had.
right.
But you never were paying for it. It's not like you would,
Sure, sure.
paying on it. But at
Some
the
of
end,
them were probably using it at that point, though.
and I think, and when it's your neighbor, right? If it's so many years,
Yeah.
don't you get it anyway?
Yeah, I think
I mean, you can
like
fight
a
that,
eminent domain thing. or
but you
something
can't
like
fight
that.
the government.
No.
You can't fight the government. They own all the property anyway.
Right.
There's no property owned here by anybody.
Right.
None. Not one iota of
You
property.
rent it.
You rent it for your tax bill. That's what you do. You rent it for your tax bill. So anyway,
Yep.
that's a whole nother story.
Right. It's not like after
But-
you're done paying for your house, you don't pay tax anymore.
Of course.
You still pay
Yeah, you really think you own it, try not paying
your property
the
tax,
extortion.
right.
right? Because that's any tax to me is like extortion. You can't not pay it. You can't avoid it. I guess you could,
For a while.
but how are you going to do that? Get someone to pay you cash and all that? I mean, it's not going to happen. But stick to your guns. Always speak your piece, and that's how it should be. That's really all I got to say about it.
That's good.
I mean, what else am I going to say about
Nothing.
it? That's what it was. What happened, and I think people did all right with it. Let's see.
If I lived in town, my side would have won. How
We
about
got.
that?
I know. Imagine that. Yeah.
How about that?
And I don't even know that I had a side. See this?
Right,
I
no,
hate
no,
the
I
whole
get it.
issue.
I get it.
I hate the issue
I get it.
because how the hell can I even remotely support raising taxes? I don't even know how I could do that. So I guess at the end of the day, maybe that's what won out. Just too many bad flavors in my mouth. Couldn't swallow the food. Couldn't do it.
You got an email already?
Yeah, this is from Tom. Have you seen a maintenance plan for the new school, or are we going to use the same one we used on the bomber? Well, it's interesting, Tom. I don't know. We got a few coming in. I don't know what exactly the scores were. I know there was some data, but I do know that we were given props, actually, for the maintenance that we did do on the school from the state. Now, that may just show And I'm losing my voice there.
Could be skewed though because it factors high school, middle school.
It
all
could
of
be,
right?
and I don't have all the info on that, Tom. I'm sorry.
And the fact that the high school was pretty new could skew that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, I guess we are on in the Valley. In the Valley Pub has got us on again on
Oh,
steak
yeah.
night. Yeah, they're back on.
Right on TV.
Right on TV. There's a picture of us on TV. On TV.
Why aren't they sending us a steak?
That's that's what I was wondering. When is the steak going to be delivered?
Right.
That should be our next
Yeah,
venture, huh?
yeah.
A steak delivered
yeah.
right here. But Pam's out there, and a whole bunch of other good people are out. That's a great place. It's fun. I like it there.
I haven't done steak night.
Well, I haven't done it either because
know.
I'm always here with you.
I know, but even when I'm not here, I haven't done it. It's not
No.
like I'm down there where
Well,
you're doing
if
the show.
you were down
Jim's
there-
supposed to be here tonight, but I
If
don't know
I
where
get
he
a
went.
picture of you at steak night while I'm sitting here, this show is going on the road.
Yeah.
All right, Michael came in. Michael W. says, I worked on 9 campaigns, won 4, lost 5. The way I see it, you can never truly win if you never failed. I guess that's true. I mean, you got to stay involved, Michael. That's what I was saying to you online. Don't let anything detract you from staying involved.
Right.
Don't. All right, this one's from Eric. Hey, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you for the school before you were against it? Now that's the
yes, he
email of
was,
the day.
right?
Hey, listen, I have a courtesy of Dave Meridian, thankfully, really came through. Gave us some Massachusetts constitutions.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And Eric, you are getting an instant win on a Massachusetts constitution. That was a fantastic email. I was
actually for
actually
it before I was against it.
no, I was really against it.
Right.
Then I was for it.
Yeah.
Then I was against it. Then I didn't know, and then I just stayed against it. What caused the flip is the headline in that. Eric, send me some info. We could meet up or something like that, and I'll get you one of those constitutions that Dave got for us. Who had a no contest? Dave had no contest. I don't vote for blanks, but I will tell you, I did bubble him in.
Did you?
I did. I like him. I like him. I like very few politicians. That's, I think, pretty obvious in my world. I find 99% of them completely useless, 1% of them useful, and he would fall into that category. And you know why? It doesn't matter. We don't agree on everything.
Right.
We don't agree on everything.
Well, you and I don't agree on everything.
I don't agree with anybody on anything, I guess, right? On everything. But, he's always right there to reply. He's always right there. He answers a message. You Facebook message him or something like that. He gets back to you. And I've learned that that's with everybody. I mean, people contact him all the time. He looks into it. He finds out. He answers your question. He moves on.
Yeah.
That's what he should do. And he's he'll take that consensus and see if everybody is kind of behind something. I think that he really goes for it. So I think it's good.
So you need some information from Eric?
Eric,
So that
yeah.
you can get him a...
Eric, yeah, we
Pocket
got to figure out
Constitution.
some way. It's not even a pocket. This
Oh, it's
sucker's
not,
no,
really?
this is a book. I got him in the. I should have brought one out here. It's probably about that big
Yeah.
and maybe about that thick. It's got all kinds of writings and different things in it. Yeah, it's really cool. It's
All
really
right.
cool.
I like it.
You might be able to have one. People.
We'll see.
You know people. So Eric, get me some info. But yeah, what caused the flip? The flip, just the
I love it.
misinfo.
That was-
Just
that
but
was
that was
clever.
great.
It was
very clever. It was so clever that I'm
We
just
both started laughing before
Yeah.
before we finished.
sure you can read them coming in. That was just really good. Good political humor. So yes,
Yeah.
I was against it and for it and against it and for it and against it again. Total flip flop on the issue. I'm a flip flopper.
You are
I
in-
don't
in-
know
in
where to
this
go
case.
with this issue
Yeah.
because
Stay
it
away
goes
from question 4, Scary.
right. It goes against the grain of everything I believe politically, but yet I was willing to go along with it. And then the bad taste in my mouth, and then I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it as I was sitting there. So what do you
I don't
want?
hold it against you, Gary.
No. Oh, please. So you could hold plenty more against me. I know that you won't hold that against me. I think my chair
We were
is
both
sinking.
victorious Monday in our pool matches.
Yeah, pool was good. Both.
We don't get both of us winning
Both made it.
every Monday, but
No,
we did this
we
past
don't.
Monday.
I mean,
No one cares about that, but I throw it in there.
Question 4 won every single district handedly, 43-47 to 23-24. That's how you win, man.
Yeah.
You want to win that way, right? Win that way. All right. What else we got? We'll keep checking those emails. Don't you worry. Looks like things went a little bit crazy for the house, doesn't it? What's interesting though is those other questions. We should just touch on them, Jim.
Sure, absolutely.
How about the 3 transgender anti-discrimination law?
No, your information in front of you is just the town, how our town voted.
Just the town. I could have it here as well.
Yeah.
I think I might even have it on one of these tabs. I mean, I get so much. You know, it's like when you're at work and you're trying to look at numbers and you can get like paralyzed by all the reports. There's so much data out there. I don't even know how to.
Well, if you want to read through the town stuff, I'll see if I can find it in here for the statewide.
Yeah, go ahead, because I
we
think
know it
it's-
was a yes, but
I think it's going to be down here. Anyway, on that question 3, that also passed every single
I will tell you that in
every
this,
single one,
in this
every
town,
precinct in
yeah,
our town.
and I would have thought in this town that it would have been a no.
You know why I think it's not? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know that I can really disagree with this thought process on the question. It was said that if gay marriage passed, right, the
Right.
world was going to end.
And it
Right?
didn't,
I mean,
right.
people were going to marry their dogs and their
Sure.
cousins and all this stuff, and your life was going to be somehow negatively affected. And it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't. I mean, this has been the law of the land now for a long time, and there's been really nothing to speak of.
Right.
This has been the law of the land for what, a year now or so? Something like that?
Okay.
I haven't heard anything terrible about it. I just haven't. I haven't heard of anyone being fined that $50,000. I haven't heard of anyone even caring. Where we play pool, there's a bathroom. That's just a bathroom. It's not a men's room or a women's room. How many places do we play
No,
play
I
in?
get it.
Where
Well,
it's
listen,
all
you go to
over.
Walmart and there's like a family bathroom where
Yeah,
a
we're
guy
going
or a
bathroom
girl could bring
happy
their
now.
Kid in there, but that's just do it that way. Just turn every bathroom into multi-user. But you know what? You go in, you lock that door, and you do your business, and then you come out, and the next person goes, and none of these, multiple
Yeah.
use.
I guess
bathrooms.
the libertarian in me says, what do I care? I get it. What do you know that pedophiles can go in there? And I get it that they could. But hey, they could anyway, just so you know. I mean, if anybody thinks, guys, if you're a guy out there and you think that you've never, or a girl, you're out there and you think you've never been in the bathroom with a transgender person.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You're out of
I
your
understand.
mind.
I
Of course.
understand.
They didn't just, transgender people didn't just become a year ago. And, So
Yeah,
I
but they're emboldened now, Gary.
Yeah, I know. Just like those gay people that are going to take over the world if we let them get married. I mean, come on. What the hell?
I'm
That
not going
was-
to ask you how you voted on
you
that
know.
question. I think I'm going to just try to figure it out myself.
Yeah, I
How you
let it
voted
pass
on
through. I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't care about that one.
All right.
The Constitutional Amendment, Citizens Commission, that also won every single one. Now, here was my issue with that. I had an issue with that one. I called their campaign people
Yep.
and asked about unions. And this was the one that was getting rid of the corporate money in politics.
Right. Yep.
I'm 1.5% for getting rid of the money that goes into politics. I really couldn't be more for it. My issue with this, and the reason I voted no, is because they couldn't tell me that this would include unions and other nonprofits. So I viewed it as, is this just a way to get
Certain.
one side out
Yeah.
and leave it for the other? And because I was reading about it, and then I said, you know what, I got a minute. Let me call them. So I looked them up, Googled them, called them, actually got a very nice person, and then they were a complete jerk. And then gave me the information that they didn't care if unions could spend money because they spoke for a group of people and the corporation doesn't, and they were a little hostile with me. So I said, okay, thank you very much. And I said, I'm going to vote no now. That's what I said I was going to do, but that's what happened. I was one of those people. That passed 4,200 to almost 2,400.
In this town, so
Yeah, it's
Same
another
people were
mandate. I
yes
mean, they
and
were
that, no?
mandates. Well, let's put it this way.
I mean that was the same result as question 4.
If you look at the voting,
Right. Yeah.
what you're going to find is it seems so far to have fallen a party line.
right,
Higher taxes, yes to the transgenders. Let's get rid of corporate evil and rich. That's always a big thing that goes together. The other one that's cut off, I have to do my math here.
Is half of it on this side?
No,
now?
I really thought it would be. The first question was the nurses, and that went big time no. It looks 5,197 people voted no out of 6,944.
It's a big no.
It's a big no. Here's my issue with that one. Every single, from what I could see, hospital, institution, the people that have been screwing us for how long? You know the old saying, we'll say, screw you, pay me or die.
Right.
But it's a different word.
They were saying no,
They were saying no.
and which made you feel like.
So
you
it
should
made
be
me
saying
feel like I
yes.
should be saying yes.
Yeah.
But the nurses I talked to were split.
Yeah.
Everything was split. The majority of nurses cannot believe both sides. So I saw the whole thing as a farce, and then I said to myself, wait a minute, this is where then I voted no. And this is why. What crisis is this trying to fix?
Right.
What problem exists? If there's no problem, then what the hell are we making laws for?
Yeah.
Just to make laws? If there was an issue, if people were dying because they didn't have enough care, if there was a problem,
Right.
we have the best medical in the country, arguably. I just didn't see it as an urgent matter. What do I have to vote on this? Why should the government even be involved in it? And then that was my attitude, when I was voting. So that usually is my attitude when I'm voting, or when I'm even talking about politics. So that was, interesting. And
But
then
you can't see how it voted in this town across the board on that. No.
I
You know,
can.
'cause
I can see precinct 1. They all went. They went yes because these are the no's. And it's cut off, so
Oh, I
I'm
see,
really
okay.
trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are the no's here, Jim,
Yeah.
and that's the total.
Right.
So it looks like they really beat the what out of it
Right.
with the yes, I would assume, but I could be wrong. Someone correct me. I'm sure you will. And then I got all the other races broken down. Elizabeth Warren, in all reality, did not win any of our precincts, but came close, which really surprised me. And that was the indicator that you knew that the large yes raise taxes crowd was out there.
Yeah.
Because that does drive these other things, because they don't just go to vote for that one thing. So you can definitely see a real movement there, a definite movement in our town. And what's interesting is in our town, this is traditionally a red town.
Right.
But to see in precinct 1, it was 745 to 825 with Jeff Deal on top. Shiva did pull some. He pulled a total of 268 votes out of the town. Jeff pulled 3655, and Elizabeth Warren pulled 2875. Blanks were 141, and there were 5 write-ins. So when you think about it, that's a little bit of a shift to the middle for me in the voting population, because if you were to go back 7 to 10 years, that number would not be that way. It would not be that way.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. Baker here did pretty well. He beat the you-know-what out of him, and Baker's a pretty liberal guy. He's certainly no conservative, but he won out 56-13 to 11-34. Attorney General,
And he won every precinct.
oh yeah, by over 1,000 almost, every one of them. Precinct 4 really went 1759 to 301. So Attorney General Maura Healey won every precinct, which blew me away. 36-33 to 31-15. So that, is going to start to show you who was at the polls.
Right.
So when you have these kind of elections where you have these local ballot questions and you motivate a populace to go and to vote, it does bleed through. You can see it in the numbers. Now, I'm not saying that's good or that that's bad. Once again, it's just a fact. That's all it is. It's just a fact. Galvin was the Secretary of State forever, so that's fine. And I mean, then you get into all these other runs that we don't have to go through. I know, Michael, you were looking for a couple. I have them here. If you want to know the numbers, just ask me. Meridian did well. He did get 1,350 blanks, or 1,344. He got 5,540 for votes. 60 people wrote in other things. So I thought that was interesting. He got probably the most of an uncontested, I'm going to think. Yeah, I think he got the most of an uncontested race, which is good. Hats off to him.
Yeah.
You know, when you're uncontested and you get that many people to go vote for you.
Right.
Especially people that are voting for the questions the way they did and voting for Warren the way they did.
Right. Yeah.
So you've got people out there that are obviously with these numbers that are voting for Warren, and they're voting for Baker and Polito, and they're voting for, even in some cases, Haley, because that was closer than I would. I can't believe that I thought he was going to take it in the town.
Do you have a call?
Do I? Oh, I do. Yeah, I'm busy here. All
I
right.
was trying to nonchalantly tell him.
That was nonchalant. Let's jump on the line. Any opinion does not really matter. We take them all. How you doing? You are next on the Freedom Network.
You know, Gary,
Oh, here you are.
That's
you're
a fu-
looking. I was reading the same thing you were this morning,
Where are you?
and when I started to notice all these Democrats winning,
Yeah.
you know what the reason is?
What is it?
You know who to blame for this monstrosity?
We're waiting.
Bring it.
Well, millennials.
Millennials.
The millennials
Oh, it's the
came
millennials.
out of the woodwork.
Well,
Their parents' basements all across town.
their parents' basements all
And they know
This guy's too
nothing.
much.
They never will know anything until they grow up to be about 35 or 40, and they smarten up and reality hits them in the face.
Not everyone smartens up at 35,
So
40.
thank you very
50
much,
I just
millennials,
turned
for
52
screwing
and
up
I haven't figured
a
it
lot
out
of
yet.
our lives.
All right, man.
That's,
It's the-
I'm telling you, that's
Hey,
what happened.
I think
It's
you.
the kids.
You're probably right that the
Well,
age was probably very low or lower than normal.
Aren't you
And
happy
when-
that they're
and when
aren't
we
you
had
happy that they're
bigger
registered to
turnout,
vote?
It was the kids. They usually don't show
No,
up.
he won't
But
be
they
happy about that.
they
I
got
wanna ask him.
everybody in everybody's family and out of the basement and out of the woodwork and out of the attic.
Oh, you're just jealous. I'd love to be in the basement or in the attic
They can
all
have the
those
basement.
days.
And
Yeah,
I'll,
but isn't
I'll
it-
guarantee you one thing.
Yeah.
I'll say half of those people that voted no,
Yeah.
they own no property.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They
Yeah.
own no property.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there
does
you
that-
go.
does that-
There's your
Wait,
answer.
do you
Does
mean
that
yes?
matter?
Do you mean yes though?
They voted yes because they own no property. Is that what you're saying?
They voted with their folks and their relatives and whatever. The kids who were in school maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
College kids. You name it.
Yeah, right.
Right.
They
Well,
don't own any
but-
property.
oh, I
Okay.
see what
But
I see.
yeah.
What
Yeah, but
you're saying.
they're gonna probably rent property in town.
Maybe not. Most people, when they go
No,
to
they're in
school,
the
they come
basement.
home and they get the hell out of here. They don't live here.
Yeah, well, they'll be sorry when their parents start charging them more rent for that basement.
It's getting too much. It's getting too expensive to live in this town anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's all relative. Move a little further east, and you'll realize it's still probably not so bad out here.
Well, I feel even worse for you, Jim. Look at the situation you're in.
What am I in?
That place is a mess. It's even a bigger mess than Northbridge's.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I've realized
Treasurer
that.
left. Your assistant treasurer left. They're trying to fire the town woman manager.
Yeah, I know. Should I apply for that?
Pisses everybody off, and then he leaves.
Should I apply for that job?
You might.
I would love that job.
Well,
I'd love it.
send in your resume.
I don't think I'm qualified.
Well, I want to see how this thing's going to go.
Hey, are you
Are they
going?
going to keep it up?
Can I ask you a question?
I just got to put one more thing in though.
Go ahead.
I got to tip my hat to the maintenance crew at the high school. At least this time when I voted, I didn't have to duck to get the branch not hit me in the eye on my way into the polling. They at least trimmed the branches on the trees. That's great maintenance. Good.
Listen, are you glad that these young kids
Guys
are
are
registered to
relentless.
vote? Did he hang up?
No, he's there. Paul.
You know, I wouldn't mind if they knew what they were doing.
No, but shouldn't. But isn't
They had
that?
it. They had skin in the game,
Did
but
you
they don't.
did you register to vote when you became of age?
I've always voted.
Okay, so do you
Me
think
too.
that you knew everything then?
Well, I didn't own property at the time,
Oh,
but I
well, that's-
learned. I never voted
Yeah,
on.
but-
I never voted on stuff like this.
So, but don't begrudge them the opportunity. I mean, they're registered voters now. Let them do it. They'll figure it out in time.
Sure, let them screw my retirement. That's great. I worked all my life just to be able to do nothing.
Well,
And then now I have no skin in the game whatsoever. And I mean, do you realize? Did you see Susan? I wrote an email to Susan Spencer. She blew me off.
listen, I
See
can.
how she wrote the column this morning? The
No.
Northbridge people of Northbridge decided to bite the bullet for a temporary increase.
It's a lifetime for some people. Let's face it.
I
30
wouldn't be
years
alive by
is
then.
yeah.
Listen, if you can't afford a cup of coffee anymore, I'll buy you a cup of coffee once
Cup
a
of
week.
coffee where?
Once a week, wherever. Your
Starbucks.
choice. Starbucks.
Yeah,
We'll go all
Starbucks.
out. I don't
Go
care.
to Cumberland Farms. It's not that expensive.
I love
pal.
Cumberland Farms. The only
Yeah, they
place I
do.
buy coffee.
That's where I think a lot of people have gone to Cumbies now. for
And
their
I gotta
coffee.
hand it to the town DPW. They don't splurge when it comes to they go down to Cumberland Farms. They buy the best coffee for the buck down at Cumberland Farms.
They do. It is the best. It is the best.
Is it the best just for the buck, or is it just better in
It's
general,
better
even than
either
the more
way.
expensive?
Even if it was the same amount of money as Dunkin' Donuts, it was
Really?
still better.
Make your own.
Yeah.
Make your own. All right, bud. Thanks for calling in.
Fun.
All right, you too. Well, he's a little agitated
He
tonight.
did kind of admit that yes, he didn't vote smart when he was
Yeah.
an 18-year-old either.
Well, I don't think any 18-year-old can vote too smart. But you know, they can only get the experiences they have. We're all molded, and they don't
Right.
have maybe enough in it. But then you got a guy like Mike out there, that you know he seems to be pretty conservative for a guy his age. He's like a mad right winger, right?
Yep.
But it's I don't know. It's interesting. It's just interesting. It's interesting. What are you gonna do?
Gary, this thing confuses me. It's
Of
got
course it's
hills and
confusing.
valleys, and
Yeah, that's because
it
it's
has these numbers.
you don't
and
have the
a lot of-
experience
a
with
lot
this
of
kind of
NAs,
data.
A lot of NAs. I'm like looking at this, saying I'm gonna try and look smart looking at this.
Why do
maybe
you think I gave
maybe
you-
I'll even throw something in there, and then I'm like, I can't add anything to this.
So let's talk about Warren for a minute.
Yeah.
She gets, my God, almost over 600,000 more votes. She's over 60%. He's 36%. Shiva's 3.4%. It's interesting. It doesn't help. Yes, Michael, you're welcome, buddy. It doesn't. He doesn't become a factor.
Yeah.
So he didn't split anything.
Right. He didn't break it down for anybody. Yeah.
I think that this was a clear miscalculation by the Republican Party to run anybody that was going to be allowed to be painted as Trump.
Right.
It's
You've been
Massachusetts.
saying that for a while. Right.
I've been saying it for a while.
Yep.
And I'll throw you an I told you so, I guess, here tonight.
Oh, really?
I'm going to throw you an I told you so.
You think
This
it would have
was
changed
not,
anything, or it would have been closer?
closer, I think,
Yeah.
because you did have a lot out there.
Right. Not a
You did
Trump
have
state.
a lot out there.
Right.
But-
Bottom line, it's not a Trump state, so you really can't align yourself with Trump.
It's a million votes.
Right.
It's a million votes. I can't believe I didn't get my mug.
You don't have your mug today?
No, I have it, but I didn't get it.
Thirsty? You want me to run out and get you some water here?
I know, right?
I am just a sidekick after all.
Right. Take camera one. So, you know, this is a situation where you get the emotion and move it away. Forget if you love Trump and he's the best thing in the world. Just forget about that for a minute. And let's think about the fact that he lost by 1 million votes here. Minute 1 or 2 in the debate between Elizabeth and Jeff, Trump was invoked. Every time Jeff talked, he talked about Trump. He talked, one of his selling points was he was going to have a seat at Trump's table. Well, to be honest with you, that ain't going to fly. Because what he's doing is he's motivating the people that hate Trump to go vote. Turnout was huge. It was huge because people were trying to go and say, I love Trump or I hate Trump. And not just here. And that cost. That definitely cost. Look what happened to Scott Lively. Remember we talked about it. His newspaper was the Trumpeter or something.
Right.
This is not going to fly here. I don't understand what the plan was. So I'm very upset with the party. I don't belong to the Republican Party, but I'm very upset with it because they really just gave Elizabeth Warren, here you go. Just go ahead right in. Anyone that thought this was going to be close needs to follow politics closer. This was an easy call from months and months ago. This wasn't a tough call. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I honestly and truly don't know what else to say about it.
Somebody might add something.
And maybe they will. We'll see if they want to. Republicans have got 51 seats. Democrats have 44 seats. And this is in the Senate. There's a couple of other parties. God, don't you wish that it was other parties were really way up there? And then you look in the House, you got 222 to 196. So the Democrats definitely picked up.
Yeah.
And they picked up a fair amount.
Yeah.
And that's not the end of the world. It happens.
Depends on what they want to do with it.
But I'm going to tell you, if you think it's immediately everybody I see out on Facebook, it's rigged. It's rigged. Why is it rigged? Because Trump didn't increase or hold his people. So if he fails, it's not his fault. It's someone else's. I swear to God. There are days and instances where some of the real Trump faithful sound just like these crybaby liberals that we see all the
Listen,
time.
I'll tell you that I think some of Trump's biggest failings right now, and since he's actually become president, is that how he realigned himself with Republicans, where he was fighting everybody to win the presidency.
Right.
And then now it's like, he's like completely aligned himself with the Republican. I think that's a mistake.
It is a
big
mistake,
mistake.
and especially now that they don't have any power. So all the favors you just did for them, not so smart to put all that out there, I would think. But then the flip side of that coin is Trump actually did better than many, if not all, but many, in just losing the, whatever it was, 26, I think, seats or whatever it was. We just had the math there, but I'm not going back. He really did pretty good.
Right.
So why not just say, hey, you know what? He lost less. He kept the Senate. He's very controversial. But I bet you if he didn't go campaigning, now the Senate people he campaigned for did well. So that's what Trump wants to talk about.
Right. And
The House people that he didn't go out really campaigning too much for them, but he did go out and he did what he was told by the party. Just, folks, he's leashed, okay? He might have a long leash, but he's leashed. Because when they said you got to go out and support people, he went out and supported them. To Jim's point, these are people that wanted to cut his neck a year and a half ago.
Right.
But now he supports them. Whatever. But he did a decent job of blocking the tide. I think he's going to tie Reagan for his losses. But he was so good today in that press conference. I love when he gets on the media. I love it. But look, we can go down, and I can show you here in this column. See all these minuses, Jim?
Yep.
Those are all what they lost. Now, Roosevelt gained 9 and then lost 72 and 45, respectively. He'll be the only one with 3, obviously.
Yeah.
But if we try to come up into a little more, Reagan lost 26, and then he did lose 5 the second time, not bad at all. George H.W. Bush, though, only lost 5 seats. He did pretty good. Yeah, he did pretty good. Clinton lost 54 and then gained 5. George W. Bush gained 8, then lost 30. And Barack Obama lost 63 and then another 13.
Woo.
So comparatively, Trump did great.
Yeah. The math says it's so.
And so it shall be. You cannot argue with math. You can't argue with math. Do you have that Trump clip? Oh, it's great because we have time for it. We're going to listen to Trump. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying to you guys that I call Trump out on a lot of stuff. We do.
You do.
And you know what? I'm never going to stop. But I'm also never going to stop saying when I think he's right. I don't think that this was the big blue tide or whatever they were calling it,
Sure.
the blue wave.
Yeah.
I think there was some intensifying in the Senate, which is going to actually help them when it comes time for another Supreme Court justice, because I think we might be getting pretty close here. And if he can find a way to work with them, Reagan did. Hey, Reagan actually had budgets with Tip O'Neill. We haven't seen a budget since Clinton.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been no budget. It's just spending gaps and all that stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's roll some classic Trump. The media is so vile to this guy. They have been since he was a serious contender. And he swings back, and I just think it's funny. They are just out of their minds, the media, to even think that someone would give them the time of day that they treat the way that, I mean, that's just absolutely unbelievable. Let's roll the tape. Take a quick listen. It's about 3 minutes long, and then we'll come right back.
And last night, the Republican Party defied history to expand our Senate majority. We saw the candidates that I supported achieve tremendous success last night. So on the other hand, you had some that decided to, let's stay away. Carlos Cubella, Mike Kaufman, too bad, Mike. Mia Love. I saw Mia Love. She'd call me all the time to help her, but Mia Love gave me no love. This vigorous campaigning stopped the blue wave that they talked about. I don't know if there ever was such a thing, but could have been.
In the midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President,
Come on.
that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much better.
if I may ask one other question, Mr. President. If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I
That's
was
enough.
going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President.
me, that's enough. CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts
Well,
his
I'm
butt
not a
like
big
the rest
fan of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
to be honest.
So let me,
Do you want to lock down your ticket right now, sir? Will the vice president be your running mate in 2020?
Well, I haven't asked him, but I hope so. Where are you? Mike, will you be my running mate? Huh? Stand up, Mike, please. Raise your right hand. No, I'm only kidding. I mean, we have many people lined up for every single position. Any position, everybody wants to work in this White House. We are a hot country. This is a hot White House. We are a White House that people want to work with.
Democrats go after your tax returns. Will you try to block that, or will you allow them to have them?
Well, look, as I've told you, they're under audit. They have been for a long time. They're extremely complex. People wouldn't understand them.
So that means if the audit is still on, you will not turn over the tax returns, or you'll fight to
When it's
block
under
it.
audit, no, nobody would. Nobody turns over a return when it's under audit. Nancy Pelosi, and I give her a lot of credit. She works very hard, and she's worked long and hard. There are many things we can get along on without a lot of trouble, that we agree very much with them, and they agree with us. I would like to see bipartisanship. I'd like to see unity. And I think we have a very good chance of, and maybe not on everything, but I think we have a very good chance of seeing that. Go ahead.
Hey, NBC News viewers.
Gotta get out.
There we go. There we go. He's like, yeah, get out. Get out.
Right.
Dump it. Sorry, that was me. All me.
They know.
They know. So do they. Everybody knows.
Right.
But that's just vintage. That's just too funny. You know, the media is so bad. And I got my cup now, by the way. So now I can really yell. The media is so bad to him. And then he just lashes back out.
Ugh.
And it's just priceless. I mean, these will be down in history. These type of press conferences where he sits there, you sit down. You sit down. You said your piece. Sit down. And the media is not used to this. They're like, wait a minute. We run stuff. We're in charge here. And it's just great that they're not, because I find no value in any media. None of it. I find it all to be propaganda. What do you think?
I agree. There's an awful lot of propaganda out there on both sides too. Both sides.
Absolutely.
You got some machines running on the red side too.
Holy moly, do you ever? Especially some of the non-traditional. You know, you get into that whole, what do they call it? Mainstream media. So go off the mainstream.
Right.
It's just, you know, anywhere. Fox, the same. These are not news. It's just not news. It's sensationalism. It's designed to keep you watching. It's not, you know, it's treated like Gilligan's Island now. Just how, you know, how can we make people watch? What
Right.
can we show you?
Right.
Some of the things you even see on the news, like, do you really need to know it? Do you need to know that, like, you know, I don't know. Talk about those people that were killed. My God, any story, right? Do you really need to know that someone in whatever Schenectady, New York, got hit by a car? Do you need to have all that information?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know. When it comes to, I mean, I guess you should, if you want it, you should maybe be able to go seek it out. Would I, if I owned a news place, I would want news on my news. And for like, this isn't a news show, this is an opinion show. But if I had a news show, I would want all the facts, and that's it. It's what I try to do. See, I'm not good at that. I guess I miss those things. I'm not a reporter. But I think that.
Yeah, but at least you don't claim to be one.
No, I don't claim to be one. I don't even play one on TV.
Right.
I just play an opinionated guy that sits there and gives you my opinion. I think overall the election was mixed. I think Trump did pretty darn good. I think he did a lot better than I expected, to be quite honest with you. I was a little nervous about the Senate as well.
Really?
I was a
Really?
little
See,
nervous.
I was never worried about
I was a
that.
little nervous, but he pulled that off. That's good.
How about that governor race in Florida?
Oh,
Listen, I didn't like the Republican in
Yeah.
that. Thank God I don't live in Florida, but I
Yeah.
certainly would not have wanted that the
the
Democrat.
Democrat.
That was a nail biter.
Yeah, it
last
was.
night.
It was. Even Ted Cruz was behind
Yeah,
for a
right.
while.
What's up with that?
Well, you know, I mean,
Listen, they were in Texas. For
Yeah.
crying out loud. Says a little something about Tom Cruise. Lion Tom Cruise. No,
Ted,
Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Well,
Lion
you know,
Ted Cruz.
to me, he lost me when he wanted to, you know, really become this religious zealot. They lose me. Politicians lose me. They just lose me when it comes to that. Jeff Sessions is out as Attorney General right after the
I know. Yeah,
press conference, I think. He
It's the
called
last
him
thing
up.
I saw before I came in.
Yeah, he was probably really riled up after that press conference. Said, "Get me Sessions." But he was that was just priceless. That clip is priceless. I saw a little bit of it, very little of it, because I unfortunately had to get back to work. But it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really calling them out. He doesn't take that crap, and I like that. I'm sorry.
I was looking at it, 10 minutes before the show on your phone. I had heard about it, but I hadn't
Right.
seen it. But yeah.
Right, and that was just a clip. I mean, you can watch, and I'll tell you something else. You know, for a guy that can be somewhat thin-skinned, because Trump certainly can be thin-skinned,
Yeah.
and then he goes on these, you know, rampages that he goes on, but he really stays out there a long time with that press.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he lets them hammer him. And again, you got to give him credit for that. You have to. How can you not? I mean, the guy stands there toe to toe, and it's interesting. It's not like you know, he's 50 feet away or something. I mean, this guy that he was standing right there.
Right.
So he's got some cojones. So that's good. I think that's good anyway. I don't think it was a huge loss though for the Republicans. I just don't. I'm not a fan of the Republican Party per se, but I don't think it was a bad loss for them. I think, to be honest with you, they could have even done better. We could have taken that other Senate seat. If a guy like Charlie Baker had run against Warren, he could have beat her. He could have beat her. I'm not a big fan of him either. I'm not a big fan of anybody in politics.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I'm not. I don't know, you know, what anybody wants from me, but I'm just not. Not a fan of taxes, not a fan of government, not a fan of the whole Megillah. I just think we're so far off course that we just have lost our way.
It's the machine you really hate.
It is the
of it
machine.
all.
It's the machine. It's the machine. And then, you know, just the ballot questions and all that stuff, it gets very crazy.
Generally poorly written, Gary, that's the problem.
Very
with most of
poorly
that.
written. I mean, didn't you have to, I'm so sick of trying to have to wonder if do I vote yes to mean no, or do I vote no to mean yes? What does that mean? I still don't know what that means. Anyway, thanks for the emails and the call. And Eric, don't forget, send me some.
Yeah, very important.
Send me some info. I'll email you back, just in case you had to tune out. He might have just had to send that and tune out.
Right.
Anyway, we got a nice local political show coming up for you. He's here, right? He's in the house. So we will have, I'm sure, a spirited conversation with Harry. We won't, but you will. And that'll be coming up in just about 4 minutes from now. What I do want to just end with real quick is good job by everybody on the local front. National front, win some, lose some, but I think it came out all right in the local front. I ain't altogether too happy to see the voting trends in Northbridge these days, but overall, people fought for what they wanted, and I think that the majority won. So, like I said about the pot thing, right? Same thing. Majority won. So now it's just got to happen. It's got to get done, and we got to just do it right.
Right.
All right, man. Thanks for
with
being
it.
here, Jimbo.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you
having me,
next
Gary.
week. Thank you very much. We'll be back. Stay free.
Because we are the prey. Yes, we are the prey.